Oh, hi, it's Opai. I have returned with Katawa Shoujo. Let's get a few things out before we begin here. First thing, for people who have been wondering what had happened last week, where was the last part of the video of this Let's Play, that is. During the week before that day, I was unfortunately hit with a strike from YouTube. Therefore, I could not upload or post anything into that, on my YouTube channel, which was kind of shocking, sad wise. I was like, wow, really? At this time? And I got many videos to upload and I couldn't do shit for 1 week. But I'm back finally, and hopefully, and let's get on with this. I mean, I've been wanting to do this for quite some time. Alright, I don't even remember where we last left off since it's been 2 weeks since I've last played this. Don't Panic is the title of this. Let us begin. Yes, I'm just happy to be back for you guys, and yeah, let's go. The next day, wake up feeling a little lightheaded. It's almost noon already. Sleeping is late. Sleeping late is fine since it's a Sunday and there are no classes. Not just a Sunday though, but the festival as well. From my window, I can already see some people at the soba booth slinging noodles onto plates for people with a craving of low quality food. I throw back a handful of my morning meds and ponder how to spend the day. There will be a few exams in the coming week, but I don't consider those as ominous as others, so I'm not as worried about them as I probably should be. With no urgent obligations regarding education, I should be free to spend the day with the festival as I like. Finishing my morning routine, I exit into the hallway, intending to go out and find something to eat. Passing by his door, I decided to see what Kenji's up to today out of impulse. Curious if he has any plans since everyone is doing something. I wonder if this has already been read. I'm gonna check and see if this is read. Yeah, it is. Talking about this festival and all that. Oh, I stopped. I wonder. I'm kind of hungry, but I made this deal then, so I could try to take better care of myself. Be healthier, you know. Don't know if I should steer clear of the takoyaki or head straight in. Deal? Sounds ominous. So what are you getting in return? Sorry about my dogs in the background. Um, nothing, I guess. It's not that kind of a deal. You know, Emmy from our year, we kind of agreed to watch each other's backs, and I. The shrill scream and the expression of abject terror in Kenji's face, it chilled in my blood, as if I told a Catholic priest that I sold my soul to the devil. Her? You sold your soul to the devil and didn't get anything in return? What the hell is wrong with you, man? Do you know who you're dealing with? She's a public health danger. Do you know how many people she sends to the hospital monthly with her carefully placed flying tackles? She's one of them, a key player in the vast conspiracy that aims for the complete submission of everything that is manly. I can't believe what I'm hearing. I trusted you in your judgment, man. I thought we were brothers. You have to call it off before it's too late. The festival, too. It's just one of their ploys. He fingers his scarf nervously, faster and faster, as he's like trying to start a fire, and then slowly begins to calm down once the panic attack finishes running its course. I'm going to have to find some place to hide in, a safe haven, and then knock the lights out myself, so I don't have to experience this horrible thing. I have the perfect thing for that. I must prepare now. Don't go to the festival. Okay. Later, dude. And I still go to the festival. The door slowly closes with a little creak, and I don't know how to feel with what about just Kenzie just said. Ugh. It's kind of unsettling, but now I start to feel doubtful myself. Should I bother going? Of course you gotta go, man. Got a book. I got a book I'm meaning to read. Something about an underground postal system that may or may not exist. It's short too. I could have finished it in a day. But would that be a good way to spend my time? Well, yeah, it definitely would be. But I suppose it would probably be a better idea to head outside. See the festival. Trying to integrate with all the other sideshow acts. Honestly, I should at least make an attempt to keep up with the somewhat friendly personality I've had in the past week. Maybe get something to eat, my stomach suggests. It's almost lunchtime. I could at least grab something from one of the stalls outside. I'm soon outside, surrounded by the various students and people who may or not be their parents. Every so often, I catch a glimpse of someone who clearly just came up from town for the promise of the festival. They're easy to spot. The ones who can't stop staring with their behind their eyes, you can tell that they're thinking, "Else, what's wrong with this one?" I almost want to yell at them. But at the same time, can I deny that I've been doing the same thing all week? However, something like disgust sweeps over me, guilt for my own narrow-mindedness. Mm. I push the thoughts aside, concentrating on the pangs of hunger that burned in my guts like a wildfire. The scent of something fried leads me to the promised land where I can get some lunch. I'm just getting my order when a loud voice interrupts me. Oh, hey, what the hell are you doing? Having lunch. Breakfast? You mean you just got up? Suddenly sleeping all morning feels like a crime. No, I meant lunch. Honest, honest, please. She's not buying it. Uh, brunch? That's not a healthy breakfast at all. She snatches my food out of my hand and glares at me. What the hell is this girl doing? Hey, that's my breakfast. What happened to it being your lunch? That's my. Whatever. That's my food. Amy places her hands on her hips and begins lecturing me. Did you forget? Did you really forget your dietary plan already? You need to be more conscious of your healthy self. What about your heart? My heart's fine the way it is. Well, mostly. All I get are responses and a roll of the eyes. I doubt that. You wouldn't be here if that was the case, would you? The girl's got a point, of course, but I'm not about to concede it. It's not that bad of a heart. Certainly, it can handle a little grease now and again. Yeah, sure. And it handled a little running just fine too. Emmy seems unconvinced. Not surprising, as I haven't even managed to convince myself. Maybe, but not if you're sleeping the day away all the time. A devious look suddenly crosses her face. Of course, if you've been following the routine from the beginning, you wouldn't have to be in this situation. Hey, I've had a pretty eventful week, you know. For example, I almost died, and there were a lot of meeting people, and then I was on the roof for a while. Which is no excuse for slacking off, you know. A little near death experience is no excuse for skipping basic exercise, like running in the mornings. She nods, as if something important had just been decided. So it's settled then. You've seen the error of your ways and are willing to adhere to my routine, right? I'll see you bright and early in the morning. We'll be running buddies. You know, you already convinced me yesterday that this was a good idea. You don't need to convince me again. Not that I did a good job of being convinced. She's right about eating healthy after all, and here I am ordering up something grossly unhealthy. But delicious! There are more important things than deliciousness, aren't there? Like staying alive? Staying alive? No, I'm not doing that. Um, if Emmy were here browbeating me for my poor decisions, I'd probably. Hey, wait a second. A sudden question springs to mind. Hey, why the hell did you have taken such an interest in my well-being? Emmy shrugs and grins at me. You're the new guy. I figure you don't have any friends yet, right? Besides, I've caused you all trouble this week, right? I owe you for not getting angry. And I told the nurse I would anyway. Uh, huh. Trey's a little running girl wants to make me healthy. Well, I suppose there are worse fates. Okay, that sounds fine. Thanks for your concern. Tomorrow morning, then? I figure that ends our conversation, so I turn to leave. Not so fast. I feel a hand on my collar, and then in a second I've been yanked backwards. Ah, hey, no, I don't need to be so rough. What do you want now? Emmy looks almost wounded by my annoyed question. Thought you could use the company. Her eyes narrow. Besides, you were just going to try sneaking up some more food, more of that fried crab, weren't you? Well, I wasn't going to, but now that she mentions it, that would have been a very good idea. I was not. Another glare. Okay, maybe I was going to get a little, the glare continues. Okay, a lot. Jesus, I'm a danger to myself and others, aren't I? I get done agreeing that I need to be healthier, and then immediately start considering the next unhealthy habit that comes in my way. I knew it. You can't be trusted. Now I definitely have to stick with you. This whole situation feels silly. can only imagine what passerby think of the sight of me being lectured by a tiny girl half my size. Hmm, maybe I just give up for now. Fine, do what you like. I sigh. I might as well make the best of this. What do you want to do? Emmy thinks for a minute. Well, I promised Rin I stopped by her mural, so let's do that. Confess, I'm slightly curious as to how her mural turned out myself, so again, I consider there are worse fates. I give a nod of assent and find myself almost dragged bodily through the crowd as Emmy races to our destination. By the time we reach the dorms, I can feel my heart pounding. My heart shouldn't be pounding after just that. I take a few deep breaths to willing myself to calm down. I'm one of the most normal looking people in the school, but I still have to be here. Sometimes almost wish I had lost a hand or something. Then at least it would be obvious that I belong here. But instead, I don't even look sick. Even now, trying to catch my breath, I just look out of shape. Emmy looks back and notices my state of distress. You're not going to die on me, are you? Please don't. It'll be all my fault, and I don't want to deal with that kind of guilt. Besides, besides, after all that last time, I don't really think I need to see that again. Especially because the nurse would totally say it's all my fault. Uh, I'm fine. Guess I need to start running after all. And you wanted to keep eating your greasy whatever it was. See? It's a good thing I found you, right? Yes, it was. Maybe. Of course, I don't add that I would be in this state if she hadn't dragged me across the festival grounds. Further conversation is interrupted by the sudden appearance of Ren. Oh, it's you. Hello, Emmy. Hey, Rin. I brought Hisao along because he was going to give himself a heart attack. Whoops. I clicked something different. I was not! My objection goes unnoticed. We stopped by to see how the mural turned out. Rin nods slowly. Well, it's right here. You can see it pretty clearly. I find myself wondering how long Rin's been standing here in front of the mural. Has anyone even stopped by to look at it? Are we the first ones? Obviously, we're not the first to see it, of course. I mean, it's pretty big. Yeah, pretty big. No. You'd be hard pressed not to see it. Stop. I gotta stop that. Drink some of my coffee. Good coffee. In the afternoon, no less. Yes, good coffee. At the same time, I don't think anyone's actually talked to Rin about it. Anyone but us, that is. I feel compelled to say something. It looks pretty good. I'm still not happy with how it turned out, but I guess it'll do. She seems almost resigned to it. I'm not sure what she expected as a result, but I guess she didn't quite get there. Whoa. Oh, actually, I think this is like the first time we're actually seeing this now. We stand in front of the mirror, taking it all in. I try my best to concentrate on the composition of the thing. It's actually fairly interesting. The colors swoop and blend together, me along with them. There's a dreamlike quality to the whole thing that makes me almost feel sleepy. I try hunting out some of the colors Emmy and I grabbed for her. Try as I might, I can't see any Prussian blue. Oh well, I'm sure it's in there somewhere. My feet start to hurt, but Rin doesn't seem inclined to move on. Emmy speaks up. Hey Rin, have you eaten? Of course. Can't survive otherwise. What about in the past 5 hours? Maybe, but I'm hungry again, so maybe that means I'm wrong. Emmy claps and Emmy grins and claps her hands together. Good, come get food with us. Rin nods in assent. Okay, but we should hurry before I know that they notice I'm gone. Somehow I don't think they care, wherever they are. As we head back to the food stalls, I cast a longing eye over the fried food. No, no, I better not. I'm pretty sure Emmy wouldn't let me anyway. We found a nice spot in the grass and sit down to eat our purchases. Well, my purchases, anyway. Somehow I wound up paying for all the food. Surprisingly, my unfried food is pretty good. Silence falls as Emmy and I eat, and Rin stares at something or other, occasionally eating a bite or two of her food. I finish my meal first and lay back on the grass. Emmy glances up from her food. Tidy, Sal? A little, I guess. Well, don't oversleep or anything tomorrow morning. We start our morning runs, remember? Actually, they slipped my mind. I was actually just enjoying myself. It should be that slipped my mind, not they'd slipped my mind. I don't know. Or whatever. I was actually enjoying myself. Wandering around with the festival with these two has actually been fun. Yeah, I'll set an alarm. You better be there. I'll get angry if you aren't. Oh, God forbid. I don't think God comes into it. Unless there's some kind of freak accident and your alarm clock shorts out. That might be a random act of God. Well, it don't cause any random acts of God then. A plan forms itself in my mind. It's a plan that makes me feel kind of guilty, but I throw it into execution anyway. Damn it, I earned a little fried food. And anyway, I'm going to start running tomorrow, right? So the actual routine all starts then, not now. Ergo, the dietary portion starts tomorrow too. Ergo, I can have something unhealthy today. A sort of a final farewell to all the stuff I used to eat with the wild abandoned before the hospital. Actually, I suppose I should head back to my room. I had some homework to do, and if I'm going to run in the morning, I should make it an early night. Those narrowed eyes again. Are you sure you're not just going to sneak up and buy some of that fried stuff over there? Nah, I'm too full to bother now. I pat my stomach for emphasis. Besides, you two have cleaned me out anyway. Amy giggles. It's a surprisingly pleasant sound. Under the pang of guilt. She's got to know that I'm lying to her, doesn't she? Or she's just that trusting. I feel like a monster. All part of my master plan, Isao. Well, I guess I'll see you tomorrow morning then. Thanks for the food and for keeping us company. And here I thought she was doing me a favor. Rin nods in agreement. I wouldn't say see you tomorrow because that would be like predicting the future, and I'm pretty sure I can't do that. Okay, bye you two. I feel oddly glad that I've decided to leave my room today. Not a bad way to start my second week here, I suppose. Once I'm sure I'm out of Emmy's line of sight, I make a leave line for the food stands and buy some cake. At least it's not fried, right? That's slightly better than I was planning to do. I still feel a little bad about lying to Emmy, though. She really does seem concerned about my health. I'll make it up to her. Somehow. Better head back to my room. Hey, I do have work to do. My book waits for me, and I flop onto my bed and read through the fireworks display. Eventually, all the walking around, or more accurately, running around, catches up with me. I really am out of shape. Emmy dragging me out in the morning to run might just be a good thing after all. It's something to look forward to. Oh, new act. Oh. I try to run, but I'm like, eh. Oh, oh, hey. Oh, she's there for you, man. That's nice. Oh, oh. Yeah, just give her some assistance to get that. That's nice. Orb. Nice shot here. Yeah, right here. I don't know if my arrow picks it up, but um, come on. I took a somber moment, just made it loot, just like that. Come on, man. She has no. Oh wait, let's never mind. Let's just continue. My alarm's beeping shatters the early morning quiet. I find myself wondering where to find the motivation to rise. And I clicked the wrong thing again. I deserve that. Class is still quite far off, but I agreed to run with Emmy in the mornings. Really, I'm not that interested in running as a hobby or even as a possible life-lengthening exercise. However, I feel obligated to run through on my promise to Emmy yesterday, which is why I find myself throwing on some running shorts and a light t-shirt. The cool morning air caresses my face as the morning sunshine causes the dew on the grass to sparkle, nearly blinding me at first. As I make my way down to the track, an ugly thought strikes me. What if this is some sort of joke that Emmy's playing on me? Would that surprise me, really? Hell, I probably do it to the new guy, too. At the very least, I'm sure Emmy and Rin made a bet on whether or not I'd actually show up. I feel a sense of trepidation as the track comes into view. You're late! It would seem that Emmy was already here. Oh, there. What a relief. Not according to my watch. We're both are early, in fact. Damn, you got me there. Emmy is sitting on the bleachers, decked out in her running gear, waiting somewhat patiently for me. I'm glad you're actually here. I was afraid that this was a joke or something. Nah, I never make someone get up early for nothing. Plus, Rin owes me 500 yen, yo. She didn't think you would actually show up. Wow, they made a bet. I know it. Nice to know Emmy was on my side at least. Emmy hops off of the bleachers and begins stretching out. She's remarkably lithe, almost like a dancer. I set out to stretch as well, but then realized I don't exactly remember how to stretch properly. It's been ages since I stretched for anything. If you don't count my one stint at running last week. And even then I've actually stretched beforehand. The specter of my long hospital stay rises up again. I can't say I was all that active before the hospital stay, though, so maybe I'm just being morose, or something pronounced like that, sorry. Emmy giggles as he watches me stretch out. No, 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 Hisao, you've got to hold it for longer than that. I'm trying. It just kinda hurts a little. That's because you're out of shape, and you gotta get some flexibility in you like this. To demonstrate, Emmy reaches down and puts her head through her legs. God bless you, Emmy. God bless you. Plus, God bless for those fucking where she's wearing those bloomers. Damn it. I see. Is that sort of thing I should strive for? Of course, flexibility is important for any runner. You'll be able to go faster the more you're stretched out. That makes no sense to me, but Emmy seems to believe it's true. With Emmy's help, I've managed to stretch myself out properly. I can't help but notice that when she thinks about how to explain things to me, her mouth scrunches up in concentration. It's adorable. Not bad, Isao. Come on, we better start running. We'll start off with just a mile, okay? That's 4 laps around the track, got it? That sounds fine to me. This shouldn't be too hard, right? The hazy memory of running a mile for gym class resurfaces on my mind. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. Emmy sets a pretty good pace, and I fall behind her. Trying to keep up, okay, Isao? Roger. We round the first curve without incident, though I can already feel my heart rate increasing slightly. By the second curve, I start to breathe through my mouth. Emmy doesn't even seem to be breaking a sweat. As if to punctuate her superiority, she turns around and starts running backwards. Oh, show off! Are you doing okay, Sal? Never better. Oh, really? Maybe I should speed up then. No, 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 no. Oh no, I wouldn't want you to exert yourself. My heavy panting and wheezing makes the statement less convincing than I have hoped. Emmy simply smiles and then turns around again. You're the boss, Isao. We'll stay at this pace. I get the feeling that I'm being mocked. If I were in such terrible shape, I'd probably feel offended. By the third lap, my breath is coming in ragged gasps. I'm also awash in my own sweat. Gross. We round the curve to start our fourth lap, and Emmy looks back at me with a grin. Here we go. She takes off at blinding speed while I stubbornly stick to my slower pace. By the time I get to the first turn, she's already rounding the second. As I struggle across the back stretch, Emmy continues running and catches up to me. Come on, Isao, you can do it. I answered her, but I'm too focused on getting air into my lungs and ignoring the burning in my leg muscles. Part of me wants to say something like, maybe you can, but I'm about to die here. But again, I doubt I can actually form words right now. Emmy keeps pace with me as I round the second turn and cross the finish line. Her sprint seems to have gotten her sweating. It's actually caused her shirt to turn slightly translucent. It seems she wears a black sports bra. Good. I was about to say, like, do I have to censor something? I feel like vague stabbing guilt for being sort of the guy who stares at a ghost's chest, but my legs or chest are burning so bad that I can't bring myself to care that much. Not bad for a first effort, Sal. Kind of you to say so. Emmy seems to be, if not out of breath, at least breathing a little more heavily than she was before we started running. It must have been the sprint that did it. Hey, I gotta get a few sprints in. You should walk around the track to cool down. Then we can stretch out, and then we'll be all done, okay? Sounds great. My legs are on fire, and my breathing is still heavy, but surprisingly, my heart seems to be taking the strain well. Another triumph of medical science, I suppose. You get her put your hands behind your head and makes it easy to catch your breath. Surprisingly, she's right. I begin to stroll around the track, happy to feel my breath coming back to me. It's a blur in me sprints by me. Watching her run is absolutely fascinating. That's not just because she's on the prosthetics, though that is interesting. This is this the really interesting thing is the way her face changes. I can only catch glimpses of it as she runs by, but her eye seems to have come alive with a sort of fierce joy, as if there's nothing else in the world but her and the track. By the time I've gotten to the final stretch, Emmy seems to have finished her sprinting. She's breathing heavily now, but she's wearing a satisfied grin on her face. She waves to me cheerfully as I near her. Feeling better, right? Actually, yeah. Do you want to take another lap around with me? I've got to cool down too, you know. Part of me would have rather sit down and not move, but something tells me that would be a bad idea. Besides, if I sit down, there would be no getting back up again. Sure, why not? Emmy got her hand behind her head now as well, which makes her seem very relaxed. The positioning of her arms also pulls her shirt upward so slightly I can see a small strip of her belly. Why are we making this detailed of this? But then again, why not? This is me we're talking about here. I do my best to try to act a gentleman and not look. No, you would not find that in me. I mean, I am a gentleman too, but I mean, I'm a guy too. I gotta like look at the detail. But the contrast of her skin in her running red shirt is rather arresting. So how do you feel, Isao? Surprisingly good, actually. I'm sore and tired, but surprisingly good. As soon as I say it, I realize that it's true. Sure, part of me wants to lay down and die, but I feel like I've accomplished something. It's almost like a glow throughout my body that persists despite the soreness. Yeah, that's the runner's high. Runner's high? Yeah, it has something to do with adrenaline? Emmy thinks for a moment as we talk, trying to remember. Then she shrugs and grins at me. I don't actually remember. It's a good feeling though, isn't it? Better than. I'm sorry for this long pause. That really just like whoa, that came out of nowhere like an RKO out of nowhere. Oh my goodness gracious. Um, I don't know how to respond to this. Really. Um, well, thank you for watching Katawa Shoujo today. See you guys next time. Yes, I am leaving you in this cliffhanger. See you guys then. You guys are gonna hate me now, but yeah. See you guys then.